Hey guys, welcome to the FPL Tips channel and welcome back to another Game Week review video. In this video, we'll be reviewing Game Week 3, important takeaways from the Game Week and some noting points that you should be pondering upon and then should help you in your FPL planning. Welcome Akhilesh, how was your Game Week?
A much better game week and caught up a few ranks this week. And also good to see some of the players who you trusted and kept your patience with finally delivering. And also a bunch of few players putting their hands up and getting into my watch list. So quite a few talking points. Let's directly get started
Yeah,
with the
let's get
Chelsea
started.
Luton game.
We have the fixtures out here and the results. I'll start with the Chelsea Luton game. Obviously, it's the game that I was most invested and watched the entire game as well. Nothing unexpected in terms of the result. Chelsea put up a decent XG and obviously won 3-0. Luton could not catch up. And this is something expected. Although that's something unexpected that happened is Sterling hauled, which we were not expecting and which we pretty much disregarded, despite there being some signs and some stats around it. We expected Jackson to haul, but he did score. But again, we expected something more out of Jackson, and Sterling delivered much more. In terms of takeaways and talking points from this game, I think two main important takeaways were Sterling was very selfish and like very central at times as well. He's inside the box a lot more, and he's taking decent number of shots and wants to get into that positions to take shots and score goals. He also mentioned something on the lines where he wants to become Chelsea's top scorer this season. So that shows the hunger in him, and he's looking forward to it. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a situation where he's also given penalty duties going ahead, or when he's like on a brace or maybe a goal as well, he's given the ball to score a penalty. Second was Gusto. Obviously, he was very forward. He was making overlap runs on almost every occasion possible. That is where the two assists that came from his side were given. And he looked decent. He's risen in price. He's 4.1 right now. People are already looking at him. And I think he should be on your watch list because at 4.1, if he continues to play that way, he's a really valuable FPL asset going ahead. Apart from that, I think Jackson, in terms of Jackson, he was really good. But his holding up play is much better than his attacking play. That's something I noticed. He gets into positions, but I think Sterling was much more centered and was given the responsibility in this game. I think that could continue because Jackson was usually on the second post or the second man to hit the ball and not the first target. First target was always very central, which was Sterling. And Jackson is dropping deep, but I think it's part of his game and he's really good at it. So I don't think that should be a worry. Overall, again, he underperformed his XG, which was expected, but looks good overall. I think if people don't have him, you can look at him, and if you have him, it's just a pretty much easy hold in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Jackson. Another day, Jackson probably would have pulled. He had two chances created, two shots in the box, two big chances, and had a 0.71 non-pen XG. And Sterling also is just very central as well. I think both of them are quite central, especially in home games against these low block sides. I think they are pretty good. And on the other hand, Chilwell, I mean, he should have shot that.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
should
what
have
he was
scored that one.
thinking.
Yeah, he should have
Yeah,
taken the shot.
and that was the Jackson assist as well. So like there would have been a Chilwell haul and a Jackson haul also, apart from the Gusto and Sterling haul. So I think all four of them are capable of doing those hauls. And in these good fixture run, I think all four of them look viable options.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation because we have three spots for contenders for that spot, and it's going to be tricky. I know between Chilwell and Gusto, Chilwell still really picks himself up, but the price difference is too much. Since we don't have expensive attackers at this moment, I don't think it's a worry. But as you go ahead in the season, that could be a conversation to have. Next up,
Yeah.
next up the matches you watched, Brent versus Spurs. You might want to walk us through it.
Yeah, I think Brentford versus Bournemouth versus Spurs.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Pretty much again, I expected this to be a little more open. I expected this to be two new managers with two attacking minded sides, but it didn't turn out that way. I think Spurs were quite solid this game. Bournemouth Bournemouth were quite exciting, but then they lacked the final product a lot. And Spurs defensively were quite solid, which was good to see. And I think Udogi owners got rewarded in this. Udogi was brilliant. Udogi created one big chance, got an assist, and Kulusevski finished that off. And Udogi is very good defensively. He is good on the ball. For a 20-year-old, I think he looks like a very good left back. And I think going forward, he's probably gonna be a mainstay because I think he seems already very important to the Spurs side.
Yeah.
And other than really another player I'd like to talk is James Madison. It looked like he's like all these injury things and a lot of people removing them out of their teams. Should have ideally waited till the deadline, got the news that he probably could start, and those who held him patiently got rewarded 10 points, and maybe should have got more also. And yeah, you can see from him 1.08 non-pen XG. So he was just very central, two big chances, and four shots in the box, and also one chance created, one big chance created. So he has both goal and assist potential, and he's just very central, very focal to whatever Spurs do. He's fit in that side really well, and yeah, he looked really central, and he's probably. I mean, early on the season, I looked at three players from Spurs, which was Son, Madison, and Richarlison, and I wanted a couple of weeks to see which is the best of those three. And I think clearly Madison is the best of the three options, and Madison looks like a player who I'd want to bring in my team next week as well. So we can talk about him more in the coming videos. But I'd like to touch upon both Son and Richarlison also. Son, I think you can pull up the stats. Son was more creative. Son didn't have too many shots. He was quite creative. He had four chances created, one big chance created, and I don't know. I don't see the goal threat from him. He's pretty much little wide. Maybe I think, having said that, he might just end up scoring like Sterling did. But I mean, if you have him, I guess you should hold him for the next 2 weeks. But I don't see him being an option to bring him in, because
But I agree
I
on
think
the
Madison is
Sun point. When you look at his heat map, it's pretty much to the wide line. He's given the
yeah,
responsibility of holding the width and then creating chances rather than coming inside. Obviously, Sun is like capable of scoring a 0.01 xg goal as well.
yes,
But that's a one-off goal. There's no signs of him getting involved in goals regularly.
yes. And I mean, the ones which went to Richarlison, very frustrating. I think he was awful this game. He gave the ball away a lot. He didn't. He was not confident in front of goal, and pretty much he gave the ball away and then pulls the player back, gets a yellow card, gets subbed off at 15 minutes. The worst thing which could have happened with Richarlison. He ended up the game week with a grand total of 0 points when Spurs were like every other player was so good. So
Yeah.
I would be a little concerned with being a Richarlison owner. And I wouldn't know if I want to sell Richarlison or not. I probably think he's a sell at this point because he also dropped in price, and I'm not sure if he gets subbed off in the 59th minute. I don't know. I mean, I looked at a couple of other players who also haven't scored so far, but their managers stuck with them until the 90th minute, like similar to Jackson. I think Martinelli also played 90 minutes this week, but with Richarlison, I don't see that happening. I mean, he didn't stick with him in a game which was like they were already leading 2-0 and wait for him to get his goal. So I don't know. I'd be worried. I'd probably sell Madison Richarlison this week.
I agree on the sell. I think he is on my radar firmly because there is the better options now. There are better options available. I get the point where you want to hold him for the fixtures, but again, there's no form behind it, and he doesn't look good. So I don't know if he'll be on penalties. Sun, I think Anglais was hinting Sun could be on penalties as well. So I'm not confident on that part either. So no point holding in my opinion.
Yeah. Brentford Palace, I think very cagey fixture.
Yep,
Both
as
good
expected.
defenses. Yeah, as expected, both good defenses, and both scored like low XG goals. The goal from Shada was really good. Was just wow, like an amazing goal. And same with and the other one was pretty like, I mean, not a goal you'd see often from Anderson. But bringing the stats up, I think Mbumo was quite quiet. Eze was little more lively, but Mbumo 0.04 non-pen XG, 0.25 XA, as a 0.35 XG, 0.07 XA. And like you could see that this is not the game that both of them are probably going to perform a lot in. And Vista, I think, was a little more lively. He had two shots in the box, one big chance. Probably was the more likely Crystal Palace player to score, but sorry, Brentford player to score. But yeah, I mean, as expected. And credits to you that you benched Mbumo this week. I think this is just a very quiet fixture.
But
And yeah,
it was the
not pretty
fixture we
much.
expected. So that was the thinking behind it. That Crystal are a good defense, and people, it's not going to be an open game for Buemo to attack or maybe counter in the last minute. And yeah, I was not rewarded for the benching. That's another topic that we'll discuss. But again,
Yes.
we had like the logic behind the benching, which worked out to be well.
Yeah. And I think Anderson was pretty decent to look at. He had four chances created and one shot in the box. And also his baseline bonus point was 25. So I think he's already risen to 4.6. But if you want someone to have a rotation option with some of the players he's probably one to look at. Uh, I think other than that, that's about it in this game. I don't think too many
There's
options
nothing
emerged
much
up.
to talk about.
And I wouldn't be too worried with being Embumo or Honor or Visona. Just that week where you play a good
Yeah.
defense and not too many things happen. I think next week they have a good fixture against Bournemouth at home. And that's a fixture we can expect both Embumo and Isa to return.
Yeah.
So just hold them, be patient with them, that's all. Coming to Everton Wolves, oh my
Those
God, Everton have
I watched this game because I was a Pickford owner as it was going on the side, and there's Everton are they don't look like the team who will probably ever score. They pretty much have like an XG of what 6 or 8, and they've
no,
not scored a goal.
4.8, 4.85 XG in
Yeah,
3 matches, and they
they've not
haven't scored
scored.
a
Yeah,
single goal yet.
even
And on
when you
the other
consider like
hand,
last season, they've not scored. Yeah,
yeah, and on the other hand, this game again, Pickford considered his first shot on target,
yeah.
similar to the first game against Fulham. So this doesn't look good.
As a Pickford
It
owner,
looks
I
very
am
bleak.
genuinely considering a wildcard only because of Pickford. He's just too much of an headache because there is clean sheet potential in other fixtures where we should go be jumping on, and this is not the keeper that I want for long term.
I think I mean as a Johnston owner, I also am a little worried with
Yeah,
Henderson being confirmed with Crystal Palace. I think for the next 2-3 weeks he should be fine, but there's a very interesting thing which we can come like dig in more deeply in the preview is I think Ariola and Turner after like the next 2 weeks they rotate brilliantly. They have like that you can see the rotation of their fixtures. You see fixtures until game week 18, which I don't know too many people would go with. All very, very good fixtures. And I think both Nottingham Forest and West Ham look promising enough for us to go with that just 8 million,
yeah,
8.1 probably if Ariola rises in your keeper. So we can discuss that in little more detail. But if you want to clear some funds up, I don't hate the 4.5 million keeper to downgrade to Ariola
Ariola. Yeah,
to clear some funds. But I think currently Flecken looks comfortably the best keeper. He had a few low XG shots saved. Brentford are second best for expected goal conceded, but Flecken still came away with 4 points this week, which is quite impressive. So yeah, that's one thing I just wanted to point out. Moving up to the big games, big guns. Arsenal first. I think I mean, 3.23 XG and you score only 2 goals. They've clearly underperformed. They were creating a lot of chances, and Fulham still do look like a defense which should be targeted. But one thing to note: Fulham is a team which is like completely different when João Palhinha plays
yeah,
versus to not. When he doesn't play, like just hands down best fixture to target, home or away. But when he plays, I think he was the man of the match this match. He was just breaking up play every time, and it was very difficult to break down with him over there. And yeah, I think pretty much in the first half, one more point I'd like to bring up is Martinelli's involvement.
yeah. I was just gonna
As a
bring that up.
Martinelli
Yeah,
owner, I was looking at him deeply. I think first half he was pretty good, 0.46 like non-pen XG, 4 shots in the box, and he looked like lively. He looked central. Saka was creating a lot of chances, so we can come to Saka in a bit. But like he looked very lively and central, and that's when Trossard started. But once Nketiah came on, uh, just Martinelli just goes very wide, plays like a left mid, not left winger, and yeah, doesn't get involved at all. And constantly you see Odegaard and Saka getting the ball on the right wing, and Martinelli looks like he's a player who's free to switch, but they're either cutting back or they're going for the shot. So I don't see them playing the ball to the back post for Martinelli to maybe come in and score. So
yeah.
I don't see it to be very promising at this moment, to be honest. And out of the two United mids and two Arsenal mids, currently I'm leaning towards selling Martinelli in the coming game week. We can come to that later. And but with Saka, I think he's a hold. I think he's looked very promising for point. He topped XGI with for all players, all midfielders also this week. 0.57 non-pen XG, 1.08 expected assists. So he created a lot of chances. 4 chances created, one big chance created, 3 shots in the box, 2 big chances, and he also got back into penalties. I think it was just a one-off where Odegaard wanted to score a goal, get the season starting, and this was just a game where they were 1-0 down, and Saka the main penalty taker had to come and take. So I think whenever they get penalties, I think Saka like has a good chance to keep them, and he took away his penalty well. The other player, Udegaard, I think he took a lot of shots, low XG shots, but inside the box he took only one, and doesn't look great. His stats 0.10 non-pen XG, 0.14 expected assists. So yeah, just I don't think he's a buy. I think probably lean towards a sell as well because their fixtures ahead are not great as well. We can discuss
So
that a little bit more in detail later.
I'll add one to a couple of things regarding Saka. His XGI was about 2.5, but it's pretty much skewed because he had a almost a 1 XG penalty. He also missed an open header from point blank range, so that also adds up to a lot of XG for him. He did create a lot of chances, so there is still that output. But in terms of goal, again, he's not that lively, and like this was one of the one-off fixture, but I don't expect him to go ahead and keep on scoring goals. I think with Martinelli as well, it's the thing his pairing up with Jesus is much more dynamic, where they because Jesus also has that ability to drift wide. I think Nketiah is pretty much
Or
very central.
Trossard.
Yeah, even Trossard. So people who can drift wide, obviously, and then Martinelli can take up the space. If Jesus is back, I think Martinelli has a different dynamic with him and different number of stats, which you can take into account. But again, between the two, I still prefer hold on to Saka because he's still, I think, the first choice keeper. It will get like first choice penalty taker, but it will switch. But I think he'll still take majority of them when it comes.
Yeah, and lastly, touching upon Nketiah, I think he looked quite lively. 45 minutes he played and non-pen XG of 0.41. 3 shots in the box, 1 big chance.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's
people actually expected him to start this game, so he didn't, and means it's just too much of a risk to go there. But
yeah, I think Arsenal are
looks a
becoming
lively
the
player.
new City with rotation coming on to it.
Slowly, yeah. But one thing to point out, I mean, Martinelli played 90 minutes this game, so it doesn't look like the rotative player gets. And I again, as I mentioned, I haven't seen him getting rotated, getting benched. When he's like last year when there were fixtures were quite cramped, he got rotated for one game and then scored and then just got his place back. So I think he's still a very main man, but he's just not getting those chances. And when Nketiah plays, especially, I just don't think he's a player worth keeping. That being said, when I remove him from my team, I'll have like a huge FOMO about Martinelli because I think once Jesus starts, he's gonna go back into becoming more central and probably a better shot than Saka as well. So I think there's some point worth thinking about, but I'm still leaning towards selling Martinelli.
Yeah, I'm on the same lines. And just because we're talking about rotation and benching, Gabriel is completely out of favor. I think Arteta mentioned something on the press conference as well, I think, or were the rumors, I'm not sure. But he's definitely out of favor, it looks like. And if if he's not being played in this game, I don't know when will he be used. So it's better that you don't risk him.
I think it's a sell now.
It's a clear.
I mean, there was always a chance.
It was always a sell, but now there's no chance, I think.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be worried
when Zinchenko starts, I see him starting, but I don't think Zinchenko is quite ready yet. And Kivior was quite good. You can pull up Kivior stats as well. I think he had one of the best non-pen XG for a defender this week, 0.42. And he had one shot in the box, which was just all through one shot, one big chance. But I don't know. I think he was also quite solid this game. He's not too bad. So he looks more suitable to play that role as a left back than Gabriel. So
I don't think
when Zinchenko doesn't play, and I don't know when they'll drop Partey as well. So it's just where like things don't look clear enough. So Gabriel is clearly a sell this week. Priority sell.
Next up, Manchester United versus Nottingham. Manchester United defense doesn't look great. Somehow Nottingham are still managing to score almost every game, which looks like a sign of people if they want to look into. I don't think there's space, but yeah, there's something that they're trying to do. They're trying to score, and United in the very
Only scored 7 games in a row.
Yeah, 7 games in a row now. Yeah. And Onana, obviously, there's a lot of scrutiny that is going around with him, and which is fair enough. So some of the things that he did was not like ideal, but the major talking points away from this game is obviously Bruno Fernandes versus Rashford, and I thought Bruno was fabulous again. We have his stats as well. His positioning, the number of shots. So when you look at Bruno's stats, non-pen XG of 0.4, XA of 0.5. He had 3 chances created, 2 big chances created, 2 shots inside the box, 2 big chances for himself. So those
4 big chance involvements. That's mad.
Yeah,
you can just take the penalty out, but
player. Yeah.
And
Rashford
nowhere close to the sell.
he created the assist and he was creating certain chances. I think he had one chance created. He was trying to drive in the ball, but again without Shaw, again that's the point. He's pretty much wide. He's at times a bit more wide than required, wherein Bruno is obviously more central. So that's something to watch out for as well.
Yeah, I think Bruno is a much better pick for United than Rashford,
Yeah.
but I think Rashford was not too bad. I think it was
He was
much more
not bad.
promising
Yeah,
from the left
obviously
wing.
he was not bad. He was
Much
very
more,
promising.
much more promising. He'll probably like give. He has a probably has a higher assist potential now because he'll get to the byline quite
Yeah.
often. And you also saw he won the penalty that way. So I think, I mean, I'd worth holding Rashford also. And we'll come to Brighton in a while, but Brighton are like are the second most for big chances conceded and third worst, third worst
Defensively, one of the bad
defense
teams,
with
as
XG.
highlighted
So
previously. Yeah.
so they have Brighton at home after Arsenal away. So that's a fixture I'd like to keep them for, both of them. And then after that they have a good run of fixtures as well, and like few good home games. And Rashford and Bruno tend to perform in these home games. So I don't see them close to being sells for now because I just see like they are the two main players for United, and the two like they'll be if United score goals they'll be involved. So that's just the reason why I'm just gonna hold them. And Bruno just looks nowhere close to a sell because he looks so central. He looks like the old Bruno we know for United, who's just involved with everything. He had this penalty also finally and scored that and 12 points. Quite happy with Bruno.
Yeah.
And Rashford also a couple of assists. Got a yellow card, but like still,
I mean, he did the
he got
classic
7
Bruno thing,
points.
96-minute unnecessary aggression, got a yellow card. I think his
Yeah,
bonus got reduced as well. So, very classic Bruno thing. He was on 3 bonus before that. So, but again, can't do
who?
much about it.
Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno
No,
Fernandes.
Bruno ended up with 3 bonus
But
still.
I didn't check, but
Got
that's
him.
good. Lucky
Got
that he ended. I
both of
wouldn't be
them.
surprised if he would
Yeah,
not have ended that way. Yeah.
because he also missed a big chance.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, but anyways, Rashford also got a yellow card. So Rashford also did like a
Yeah,
silly thing to
dropped
get
in.
a
Yeah.
yellow card. So just I mean 2 yellow cards unnecessary, but I think
Unnecessary yellow
they were
cards.
quite good. Yeah. I think they're quite good. And on the other hand, I wouldn't see any too many players from United defense.
Yeah.
We also saw that Shaw got injured, and not too many players to target. If you have Onana, hold him for now, because I mean the fixtures are not the worst, but hold him for now and rotate him with Turner whenever possible. But then win your wild card, you can just look to sell him off, or if he gets worse. But I just say hold him for now.
Yep. Next up, Brighton versus West Ham. A game which
Yeah, I can
fell
take
into
it.
Moyes' hand. I think the tactical things that Deserby tried out against Moyes didn't work out. Moyes is the classic person who loves to have two narrow centre backs closely operating, and he got that space on the wing to exploit. He did exactly that. 4-5-1
This
structure.
game was a joy to watch
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
it was.
I think, yeah, I think just peak Moyes ball. He was just
Yeah,
brilliant. The
peak Moyes
counter
ball. That's
attacks,
exactly what I was
the
saying.
counter attacks they made was just like so good to watch. Especially the second goal. No, the third goal I think. Yeah, no, I think the second goal and the third goal. Second
Yeah,
goal was the
both.
best. I think
The Bowen goal as well. Yeah.
Antonio wins the ball. Antonio sprints, plays the ball down the wing to Benrahma. Benrahma holds it for a second, and then just a simple lob pass to Bowen. First touch, brilliant, and like
Yeah.
scores. And Bowen, man,
And
Bowen was
then
insane.
Bowen
Bowen
is
had
looking
3
great.
stars.
Bowen is in general looking great. He's got
Yeah,
Luton next up. People who have held on to him or like are looking at him,
I think
I
he's
think it's a
like you
great
have to
hold.
hold. Yeah,
Yeah,
great game week also because Luton tends to concede a lot of chances through the left wing
yeah,
because we saw March first and then Sterling also scored like
exactly.
Hall against them. And Bowen looks great as well. 1.21 non-pen XG. 0.03, not too much assist potential, but like his goal potential looks like because he's very central, 90-minute man. One chance created, 3 shots in the box, 3
And
big
3 big
chances. So
chances. Yeah,
yeah, that just looks great. And he also got that low XG assist to Antonio, which is also nice counter attack,
yeah,
great finish. He just looks quite central to what West Ham do. He's probably their main player. The other player I'd like to touch up with is James Ward-Prowse, who also looks like an attacking midfielder who looks like who got into the box, took a high XG shot, 2 shots in the box, 1 big chance. And he didn't create too much this game, but generally you would expect him to create chances as well. I don't see him being an option as yet because I think like there are just like better midfielders everywhere. But surely one to keep an eye on because he was quite good this game. And he's not the same play. He's not playing the same position he played for Southampton. He's much more attacking. He's on set pieces, and he also gets the odd free kick away. So I think there could be a few points in James Ward-Prowse in the coming weeks. But I mean, if it was Luton away and Sheffield United home next two fixtures, I would have been like, this is a good team to look at. But there's just City and Liverpool
Yeah, the
sandwiched
fixtures are not
between those
that
two
good. Yeah,
fixtures. That's what puts me off West Ham right now. But they look great. Coming to Brighton, I mean, they
Brighton.
have, as I mentioned, they are like second worst for big chance conceded, and they were just like defensively, and especially they've played three games: Luton home, Wolves away, and West Ham home, where you don't concede too many chances. But now they're gonna play Newcastle at home, then United away, then after Bournemouth at home they have City and Arsenal as well. So uh, I don't see. I mean, I'm just
I don't without
debating. I think
Caicedo. I don't rate their defense at all. That's what I've been saying. And
yeah,
even
they
McAllister is out now, so I really don't rate their defense at all. I think they're actually, and the style of play they adapt, which is high attacking, high pressing style of play, high and holding the ball a bit. They are bound to concede goals without a good
yeah.
defensive midfielder. I think Dahoud is not the guy, or Gilmore is not the guy you want at that position.
Yeah,
Brighton
they're quite attacking wise, they're quite good, but like none of them are defensively solid.
defensively, I don't think so. They're good, and there's gonna be a trend. I think against, especially against the big teams who can counter attack well, and like transition really well and fast. I think Brighton will keep on conceding goals.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know about Estupinian right now. He's also gone one more. Finally, he's gone to 5.3, and
I
he
think
looks
it's
like
time to sell.
he looks like a great attack. But
No, but
how long? How many times will you just count on that? You need some clean sheet potential as well. So for now, I'll just see. I'm not really too sure about him, but I think anyone goes for Trippier, I think it's him because there's going to be a big trend of Estupinian to Trippier, which is like I mean, Estupinian has Bournemouth home as game week 6, and Trippier has his fixtures Sheffield United away, Burnley home start from game week 6. So game week 6 there'll be a big debate on whether to sell Estupinian or not. So I mean, I think keep an eye on Brighton the next two games and how whether they improve in their defense. I don't see them improving too much, but I think with your Newcastle attackers and your United attackers, pretty much a fixture to target Brighton.
next up, Burnley Aston. I saw this game. Burnley, the goal they scored was pure like brilliance from the striker. There was nothing much in general from the team. It was very spurs of play. I don't think there was something very great by Burnley. Aston Villa looked good again. Aston Villa had their chances. Watkins was very good. For people who don't own Watkins, it was lucky that we somehow survived.
Yeah.
If you look at Watkins' number, they're really good. He had like non-pen XG 0.7. He created two chances, four shots inside the box, two big chances. So we actually got away with this one. And Matty Cash looks like the guy. I remember correctly in like preseason we were discussing how Matty Cash could be an important play if he continues to
Yes.
start back. And then Emery came out and said that, oh, I want to play a back three and Konsa should be right back at times. But Cash has been playing ever since and he's looking great. So that's the
1.25 non-pen XG,
yeah. If you look at
five
his
shots in the box,
number,
two big
yeah,
chances.
this is
That's
crazy
like
numbers.
ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy numbers, and like you probably want to look at Cash if you have the funds and the bandwidth to get him. But apart from that, I don't think there's much from the game. Diaby looked good, and he is looking good almost every game. It's gonna be quite of a debate. I think Diaby is still better off Watkins in terms of the comparison they have. But yeah, nothing much apart from this game. Nothing from Burnley to watch out for. Yeah. Next up, Sheffield versus Manchester City. So pretty much one-way traffic. I don't think there was anything exceptional in this game. We expected this game to happen. This is the way it was supposed to happen. The only thing I see is Sheffield scoring a goal, a very like odd goal. You won't expect City to concede like such a chance. It was mistake, and then Walker was out of the pitch, and they managed to score. The only player that stood out to me was obviously Alvarez. He had like 8 shots, 4 chances created, good numbers to watch out for. But again, going ahead, if he continues to play in that position, he could be viable. He had genuinely good numbers. He had 5 shots inside the box as well. So that was the only player that stood out. Obviously, everyone else, Haaland was expected. Foden did not play, so nothing on his part, but he came on and got an assist. Dodgy assist, jammy assist, I would say. But again, he was he was in a very central position, which is also a good sign to look out for.
Yeah, I think Foden going forward will continue starting games
Yeah.
because like I saw that there was a little lack of creativity with Foden. I think with Foden here they would have won like 4 or 5 nil.
4-5 nil.
Which was absent because unfortunately like we were quite unlucky that he fell sick. So for the game, I think Akanji owners also like similar. But also lucky that he came on, because if they hadn't conceded the goal, I think he would have just sat out, and like a
Yeah,
lot
no
of
assist on his
owners,
part. Yeah, yeah.
a lot of owners also would have got like Udogi, Gusto out of their bench, and that's quite unlucky from their part. But yeah, I think he got an assist to cover up that, and 4 points, I'll take it. But I think yeah, another game where Haaland was just
There's
accumulated
nothing to
too
add
many
Haaland.
numbers.
He's pretty much what
1.14
he did
non-penalty.
what he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
but
nothing
missed
much
a
to talk
penalty,
about him.
odd penalty, but like should have hauled another day.
Yeah.
Alvarez, as you mentioned, was quite good, and yeah, I mean, owning a City defender wasn't ideal, because I think they didn't concede too many chances, and just getting that odd goal out, but just especially when you own them, which is quite frustrating. But I mean, they look good, and
Overall,
they look
defensively, yeah.
good as a defense also, defensively also. I think Ruben and Guardiola look as decent shouts. So going ahead, we can just hold them and hope for more clean sheet runs.
Yep. And the last game, Newcastle Liverpool, a game
Yeah.
that you watched. You can probably
Uh,
take us through.
yeah, I mean, Newcastle started the game on front foot. They were just dominant, and both the wingers, Gordon and Almiron, were just like the ones they were going with. They were targeting Alexander Arnold's like Alexander on our side, and like he was quite bad. He made a mistake for the first goal. Gordon scored, and then the red card happened. Just a quite roller coaster game here. And like yeah, after the red card happened, I think you would expect Newcastle to score a couple of more goals, put the game to bed. Uh, and Almiron did have the chances to do that. You can look at his chances: 0.59 on pen XG, 4 shots in the box. There was just one absolutely amazing save from Alisson, one of the best
Yep.
I've seen. Uh, and just like Liverpool somehow was in the game, and Trippier also was quite good. He created 4 chances and looked like a game they could put to the bed. 2-0 up, 3-0, keep a clean sheet. Then Trippier gets a haul also, because he was quite in creating few good chances. But and then like the game just changes. Darwin Nunez comes on, just like turns the game. Just two brilliant finishes. It's like finally he announces himself as like the player who everyone expected him to be. Still a minute's risk, but he came on, scored a couple of goals, and yeah, I mean, a heist for Liverpool, I'd say, because Newcastle looked the team that should have put this game into bed.
Yeah, I think there's more positive things to look out for Newcastle's fixture turnaround. I think Newcastle is the better team. I also think
Yeah.
Isaac was really crucial. His numbers don't justify it, but he was looking decent when he was making runs. Another thing
It's
to
just a
add,
game where they were attacking the wings, that
yeah,
Isaac was not like very like involved. On other games they'll be more central, because I think centrally Liverpool are quite stacked. Wings they are weak,
wing is yeah,
so
on the wing backs.
that's why Isak was not didn't come out with better numbers after this game.
And
Yeah,
I was just adding one thing important for people who watched out Darwin. Klopp did mention something on the lines where he still prefers him off the bench as an option of an impact sub, wherein I think first choice will still be Gakpo and Jota and Diaz. So even with Darwin putting up a great performance, I think he's still on the bench for now, and he could be making more appearances from the bench right away and not start. So that's something to monitor in terms of FPL because it's important. Apart from that, I
yeah,
don't think.
I
And Botman got injured, so it's some injury scare. I don't think it's. I don't know its severity, but there was a substitution that was made late in the game with Botman.
okay, yeah, we can wait and watch.
Yep,
With
that's something to
Portman.
wait
And
and
Salah
watch.
had an assist. Salah created 2 chances on 6 chances. Only one shot in the box, which you would expect with 10-man Liverpool. So I not take too much, but I think he looked quite decent, and
But again, decent.
like
We can we have already touched this
I'm
last game
yeah,
week in the preview, but yeah, we will again in terms of Salah and Liverpool assets.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's just how he came out with. Diaz quite unlucky, because he looked quite lively early on, but he had to be the one compromised for the 10-man
10 men.
Liverpool. And yeah, then Jota came on, was quite lively as well, had a shot in the box, but
Got an
not too
assist.
much,
He
not
was
like
awarded
not
the
too much.
assist for the first goal.
I don't think he
Yeah, Jota was awarded
was
later
he?
on. I think yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he got an assist as well. So, no, I mean, it looks. I mean, not the game where you judge your Liverpool attackers from, but we can discuss that a little more later. But
Yeah.
it's just a game you look at Newcastle created a few XC, and like you look you would expect to have a few of those, a piece of Newcastle's attack and defense coming up when they have good fixtures.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. There's a lot of talking points for this game week's preview as well, pretty much related to which midfielder do you have to sell. There are so many options that are emerging with the fixture unchanging.
And which to go for.
Triple up on Chelsea or not. There's the questions of Buemo. There's what to do with Brighton assets. You have Newcastle also are popping up as a team. So there's a lot of talking points there this game week that we need to cover up in the preview, which we will. But for now, this is up with this video. I think if you like this video till this point and you've been watching, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us grow. Any last words?
Thank you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, just looking forward to the preview. I think
Yes.
there are, like you said, there are too many talking points, and yeah. So
We'll see you guys
that's
in the
about it,
preview.
I think. Yeah.
Bye.